Welcome to the Recon Trader. In today's video, I will share with you a trade I actually executed based on my counterattack strategy. Now, if you're not familiar with my counterattack strategy, it is basically looking at some type of sell-off and then a reversal of that sell-off. And in this case, I was looking at Uni USDT on the 1 hour. It's on one of my screens. And the bullish engulfing candle kept printing on the screen as the price action moved up. Now, I won't actually receive an alert from TradingView until that candle closes, because I look for actual confirmation that this is going to be a bullish engulfing candle. But as I looked over at the screen and saw this popping up, I started to do some recon. And a few factors I take into consideration before I engage this target for a counterattack trade would be RSI above the 40 level, and it was breaking above the 40 level. I need this candle to close above the EMA 9, which it ends up doing. And then I also look for previous structure, and we were coming down into a previous structure. If you look back, we're coming down into this previous structure. We're kind of bouncing off of it. And so with all those factors and a bullish engulfing candle on board, I was ready to pull the trigger. And then I started doing my recon on my profit levels and my stop loss levels, which you'll see in the video here in a moment. Now, with that all being said, I also had an opportunity to take a trade on ETH at the same time with the same sort of conditions. Now it's actually played out, but it was on the same time frame, same conditions. The biggest factor for me on this trade and why I didn't take it, the candle did not close above the EMA 9, and in the long run it would have missed my target by 0.25%. So now let's get to the video of the actual live trade. Alright, so I've now become aware that there's a target with an opportunity to engage. So now I'm going to start to do some recon and look at, like I pointed here, this is probably going to be resistance. And so now that I've been made aware of a target, I need to find profit, stop loss levels. Now that would be a longer term trade if I went up to this level of 16%. But realistically, I'm looking at this level here, more around the 6% level for this particular trade. And if I look back, I also see previous support can become resistance. And now I'm measuring out where would I put my stop loss. Now that would be way too much of a stop loss, too much risk versus reward. I end up putting it up in this area. Actually, I end up putting it higher than that as well. But even at this level, I'm at about a 1 to 2 risk versus reward level. And it's important to note, before you ever engage a target, you need to know your profit, your stop loss, and your entry level, where you want to enter this particular trade. And my entry level target was around just over $23. I ended up engaging at $23.05. And so now I start setting up my actual trade within my trading terminal on Bitscap. And you can see I have my take profit level set up. I have my stop loss area set up that I had predetermined. And again, these take profit levels are based on what recon I did earlier. And again, I'm really starting to make sure that we're going to close above the 9 EMA. We're closing up above the RSI 40. And now I'm trying to figure out my entry price. And like I said, it's around $23 that I'm watching, but I'm still waiting for this candle to close to confirm everything. And so after looking at the order book, I start to figure out an entry price I'd be comfortable engaging the target at. And again, the order book, we're looking at 23.08 versus 23.04, and the last price was 23.05. And so I jump back and just confirm we're closing where I'm thinking we're going to close. And we have about 2 minutes left before the candle closes. And another thing when I look at the order book is the size of orders that are on the book. If there's a lot in front of me, it may not make it down to me if this is going to continue to move up. Now I see we're down to the final minute. It looks like this is going to be a go. I've adjusted my buy price to 23.05. And again, you've got to be patient. Let the action come to you. I'm not going to jump in before this candle closes. I check back to my trading view chart. Everything looks good. I'm about to pull the trigger down here at the bottom of the screen. And I pulled the trigger. Something else to note is I have a lot of bots running on this particular exchange. And you can see my limit orders are starting to be placed. The little blue dot on the order book indicates my order. And now I just sit and wait for my order to be filled. And if we look over here on the order book, I'm at the top of the list on the orders. And the ask is starting to come down to my bid. And I will more than likely get filled here in a moment. And my order just got filled. And now I can go over to the positions tab. Now the terminal that I'm using is Bitscap, their trading terminal. And it allows me, as you saw earlier, to set up my take profit levels, which now have populated the chart, and my stop loss. I'm essentially done. I can now sit back and watch this trade go. And you can see where my take profit levels came in at. They're actually at the top of each of those red candles. And my very top level of 6% is what I saw as resistance. So now that I have everything set, I can give my attention to other trades I might be engaged in. Everything's going to be taken care of for me now through the trading terminal that Bitscap offers. And now we get some positive movement in the price action. My first profit target is 23.51. And oftentimes, if I'm actually watching a trade, I'll be watching the order book to see if there's a big block somewhere that might be hard to break through. In this particular case, everything's pushing up and the bids are actually stepping up. And there's really no resistance on the ask side. And now we're getting closer to my target. The bids are stepping up. And we're wide open on the way up to that first target of 23.51. And we're just about to pop. The last price was 23.50. And all of a sudden it just jumps to 23.52 on the ask. And we hit it. So now my limit order has been placed because we've hit my target. And the limit order was filled. So now I just have 2 targets left to go. And we're getting closer to my target now of 23.97. And we're going to see here in a moment, this price really pops after it had a slight retracement. It pops and hits my target right away. And so now I have my sell order in place. You can see it with the little blue dot. If you look over to the left on the ask portion of the order book, you can see my sell order is now in place. Now we do get a little bit of retracement because of how that price popped. I was noting that once that 105 comes off the board here on the order book, they are really acting as a block at the moment, and bam, they're gone, and the price starts to jump. Just like that. And we have a very wide open route to my order. And you see the limit order was filled, so now I only have one more target, and that's going to be around resistance. And all of this is happening on this 1 hour candle. So in less than an hour's time, I will have made 4% on this trade. And it works out to be 4% because I took 2% on 30% of my position. I took 4% on 30% of my position. And I take 6% on 40% of my position. And so it averages out to a 4% profit on this particular trade. And now you can see I'm starting to move my stop loss up. And so I actually want to right around this 2% profit level. So I'm actually going to type that figure in so that I can ensure that regardless of what happens, all my positions will be filled in profit. So I jump my stop loss up to match my original 2% profit. And so the stop loss has now been moved up from an actual loss to, if it retraces back, it'll be a profit. And the price action, as you can see, is getting closer to my third target for profit of 24.43. And again, if you look over at the order book, it's pretty much wide open, and we've got plenty of support on the bid side. And the ask side, again, is pretty much wide open. Once that 16 clears, we'll probably pop. And we're approaching the 24.40s. My limit order's been placed. We've hit the target and they filled and I'm out. I'm done. That was it. All I had to do was sit back and take in 4% profit in less than an hour's time. And if you're curious how the price action ended up later on, this is the candle I was actually taking that profit on. It does push up a little further, but has since started to slowly sell off. And so you can see the recon I was doing ahead of time with this area being resistance paid off. And in the long run, you're not going to sell the top every time. So in the long run, this would have sold off. I would still be in that trade, or perhaps stopped out actually. Yeah, I would have been stopped out because I had moved my stop up into the 2% level. And so I can chalk that one up as a win based on my counterattack strategy. It worked out according to my battle plan. And I plan on doing a lot more of these videos in the future. So now would be a good time to shoot that subscribe button. If you like these type of videos, be sure to spike the like. If you have any questions or comments, leave those in the comment section down below. I'll leave a link to Bitscap in the description below. I've been starting to use the trading terminal and I like how it works. And so you might check them out through that link in the description. Now, with that all being said, remember, never send your money into battle without first doing your recon. See you in the next video.